AI is a very broad topic, and we're all kind of scratching the surface. But we as an organization are preparing to be the AI advisors of our clients, as we have been over the years. When Office 365 came out, when the cloud came out, we became the experts and we sort of ushered our clients through that roadmap, created that roadmap, and moved our clients through that roadmap. So, no different with AI. So, we're looking at AI from kind of two different perspectives. One perspective is the internal AI as to how our employees and our team is using AI. And the second perspective is more along the lines of how do we help our clients, particularly the small and medium businesses, adopt AI into their daily workflows and eventually kind of gain some productivity improvements and efficiencies in their businesses. So in currently everything we do, there is an element of AI involved. So as simple as when a ticket comes in, AI is able to sort of look at that ticket and say, okay, I can read this ticket, and based on historical data, I'm going to assign it to this particular engineer because they are specialized in this particular area. So simple things like that, we've started using AI in order to deliver our services to clients. There's a lot of hype around AI, and there's a lot of talk around AI is going to rule the world, and we sort of take a very pragmatic view of AI, which is this slow, gradual adoption process. And, like anything, we have this concept of crawl, walk, and run. We believe we are all in the crawl stage right now, which is, us kind of figuring out where AI applies to clients and actually can bring either speed or accuracy to our service delivery to our clients. So something as simple as if a client needs a password reset, right now we do that manually through automation, but eventually that idea would be a client would be able to interact with the bot to say, hey, I need my password reset, and this bot would have access to all of our platform and tools and all the client's platforms and workflows and be able to follow the workflow and take action and within seconds deliver that answer. So the idea of the crawl phase is more along the lines of conversational, simple content and getting ideas and support, to the walk phase is simple automation that we be able to deliver to clients. And eventually the run phase is integrated automation. So it's able to look through multiple platforms and multiple applications and answer the client and take action on behalf of the client. If the client says, hey, my computer is running slow, it's able to look through all of the platforms, figure out all the logins and passwords, and access the computer and run a bunch of diagnostic tools that are already pre-scripted, look at the results of that script, and then actually take action by either defragmenting the hard drive and rebooting and getting them back up. So that is eventually where I see in the service delivery model in the next 24 to 36 months, it'll be more client facing, and we're kind of preparing and gradually sort of preparing for that phase. A lot of the underlying concepts around that is, good data, good documentation, good integration. The overall wrapper is cybersecurity. So we're kind of working through all of those things to make sure that we're able to, bring these services to our clients that deliver faster than SLA, response time, and is able to delight the customers and bring our client satisfaction to all-time high. Most of our clients are struggling with AI primarily because of kind of three main areas. Lack of governance. There's a lot of what we call shadow IT, meaning everybody's now playing IT in the company, and the executive team doesn't really have control of what data is going out and what people are putting in their chats, and they're sharing confidential information, confidential contracts. And so we have this problem of true governance within AI and AI's adoption and usage in our client base. Then the concept of cybersecurity. Our clients are not thinking of the cybersecurity side of AI. When you let information out, you don't have control over what goes out anymore. And then lastly, true ROI-driven use cases. The use cases are not defined. So as a result of that, the ROI is not defined. Nobody sat down with the client and said, hey, let me go through all the use cases you have and provide some ROI guidance so that we can kind of prioritize which ones we want to work on. So everybody's working on everything, and this sort of a mass experimentation going on within our client base. That's kind of the broad strokes of challenges we see. And so what we've done is we've launched this platform called Ember Logic AI, which is sort of an LLM agnostic platform that leverages any of the LLMs you want to use, ranging from Anthropic to Gemini to ChatGPT. But the idea is that the business logic gets defined and the business logic resides in this platform, and the LLMs are interchangeable. So we're bringing this platform to our clients in a very simplistic, again, crawl, walk, walk, run framework. And the crawl was, let's open that up to all employees in your company so that they can use the chat feature, just like ChatGPT, but in a secured environment, which is SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. We as a company, we as an MSP are SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. So this platform is also SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. So start with that as conversational AI, but with an AI policy wrapped around it, that this is the acceptable use of AI. Just like we have acceptable use of devices and phones and laptops and iPads and all of that, we need an acceptable use policy for AI. So we create that for clients. We launch this platform. Then comes the walk phase, which is let's create simple agents. Things like, hey, I want to upload my financials and get a quick financial summary written. Or I want to upload my P&L, my balance sheet, and AR and AP, and I want to see my cash flow, predict my cash flow. So we're building these simple agents for different departments, from HR to finance to procurement. And that becomes the next phase, which usually takes, 12 to 18 months. And then 18 to 24 months is the idea of actual, automation across multiple platforms. So that's how we're kind of bringing our Ember Logic AI platform to our. Most of our client challenges are around, efficiency gains, right? And what we are finding is that we're able to pick up, anywhere from 5 to 7% efficiency gains with simple agents. And over time, we believe that this could account for 10 to 15% efficiency gains within our business and obviously within our clients. So initially, it's about sitting down with each department and asking, what are the most repetitive tasks you do? And, recruiting, HR says, I onboard a lot of employees. Okay, can we create an onboarding agent that kind of walks the new hire through phases, and they can ask questions and, look at their PTO policy and, things of that nature. Then they say, hey, I spend a lot of time answering questions about benefits and PTO. And so can we use a simple agent that takes all of the, HR handbooks and the PTO policies and all the information and is able to quickly answer questions from employees? So sales, you go to sales and you ask them, hey, where do you spend most of your time? And what's the most time consuming thing? Well, when we have a prospect, we spend a lot of time investigating that prospect. Okay, can we create a quick agent that takes the prospect's name, location, and provides you information in a very structured format that is conducive to you, gaining that information and being ready for the call, ranging from, okay, what have they posted most recently on LinkedIn, how to talk to them, what's their style, what's their personality. And so very quickly kind of delivering those kinds of tools, particularly in the SMB space. Enterprise space has a lot of tools already built in, and OEMs are developing these tools. But the businesses that we work with are primarily anywhere from 30 to 100 employee companies that don't have their internal IT. That's kind of how we are, being the AI advisors to our clients to say, let's sit down department by department, figure out the repetitive tasks that you do, and can we create simple agents that can use over time. And as you know, AI hallucinates, so there's a review process we have to go through to make sure that whatever AI is delivering is what you're looking for. So there's a check and balance phase that we go through, but that's how we're kind of bringing AI value to our clients. Yeah, we started using internally almost like how we are advising our clients, because at the end of the day, the skills and the agents are transferable. The context changes a little bit, right, from industry to industry, from business to business, but the basic agents are very much transferable. So our as simple agent that we've built for our recruiters, that they were struggling with, interviewing a lot of candidates for open positions. So we built an agent for them that has, here's 15 resumes you upload, and the agent already knows our company's culture and our vision and our mission. And you also upload the job description. So based on that job description, we pre-prompted it to produce the results in a tabular format. Say it would stack rank the candidates based on their resume as it compares to the job description, and based on where AI felt was the best value in terms of, organizational fit and cultural fit. So it's able to stack rank it. And then we've taken it one step further and said, okay, here are the LinkedIn profiles of each of these candidates. And then it would do a search on their LinkedIn profiles to actually say, okay, based on what I see, I'm assuming that this candidate is a better fit based on these cultural values and what they've said. So something that used to take our recruiters, on an average 10 to 12 hours a month is now being done by AI. So that's a simple admin related sort of concept that we've built an AI tool for. And then on the operations side, as I said, we've built some internal tools that allow when a ticket comes in, it's able to read the tickets, look at the history, and decide where best to place the ticket. Then, when an engineer is wrapping up the ticket, engineers are notorious at being very brief and they're not very wordy because they're so focused on solving the problem. And this agent is able to kind of look through all the tasks that were done and is able to actually suggest, well formatted, ticket notes to say, okay, here's what you did and here's what I deciphered from what you did and here's how to write it. And then they would basically copy and paste it into the ticket, which provides great ticket hygiene. At the same time, when a client is asking for, hey, what was done on this particular ticket, we have sort of, better documentation and more of a uniform language structure to be able to provide to clients. So all in all, we're just generating a lot of, good structured data that could be eventually used in the future to say, okay, based on this kind of ticket and with the work that was done on this ticket, which is very well documented because AI wrote it, I can kind of decipher that this should be the solution to the problem, which again advances the SLA, beats the SLA, great response time, and really delights the client of fixing problems that would have taken a lot longer in the past. This is in the center of sort of our strategic planning and budgeting process. In the past, we had a metric that we used based on a certain client volume in terms of revenue or dollars. We always used to go and hire an engineer based on how many clients that they could manage. And that metric is starting to kind of morph and change as businesses all around the world are kind of looking at that metric and say, this was my efficiency metric and I always hired these many employees per $100,000 of revenue. And that metric is starting to change. The same thing we're going through. And we've committed to our employee base that we're not planning to lay off anybody, but that we're trying to train everybody to be AI experts and AI advisors to our clients. So by definition of that, we believe that would be able to pick up 10 to 15% of efficiency gains over the next 24 to 36 months. Again, we're very pragmatic. You'll see all kinds of metrics thrown out there, 30%, 40%, but at the end of the day, we believe that a 10 to 15% pickup in the next 24 to 36 months seems more realistic, more manageable, and more pragmatic. So that's how we're kind of modeling everything. The metrics we use, currently to kind of manage productivity, efficiency, utilization is starting to morph and starting to change. But we are very careful because we don't want to affect our clients' satisfaction scores. We over the last 5 years, we've enjoyed a 98.2% CSAT score, an 89% NPS score. So we want to continue to maintain that. In fact, we believe that AI tools, correctly and appropriately instituted would only enhance those scores. So we're also being very careful not to jump too far into it. Yeah, most of the internal use cases we're seeing are all content related, meaning it's still conversational. We don't really have a lot of deep RPA type robotic process automation type of agents built because those use cases are still kind of morphing and evolving, if you will. But we're seeing a lot of value in content generation from finance generating reports based on spreadsheets to directional on cash flow projections to sales and marketing doing research on clients, on potential opportunities, and internally making sure that looking through ticket volume data to identify any kind of trends. We're seeing a ticket slowdown here, so we have our client success management team. They're looking at that kind of metric to see, hey, this particular ticket isn't moving as fast as it should, and let me jump on it and investigate. So those kinds of, I would say, directional, conversational content generation, email content generation using Copilot from Microsoft, those are where we're seeing the most pickup and the most use cases so far. The conventional wisdom would say, let's pick the most expensive, the ones that cost the most money as potential use cases. But we've kind of taken a slightly different approach, and we're looking at just simple, repetitive tasks that are sort of noise and not the core, and automating those because we want to get some quick wins. And a lot of this is also adoption, because what AI adoption doesn't consider, or most companies don't consider well, is the cultural aspect of it. It's very easy to feel that, oh my God, AI is one day going to replace me, and why would I adopt and engage in this AI model if it's going to replace me one day? So we're very mindful of that. We're a very empathy-driven organization. We've been on the best places to work at PA list in 2022, 2023, and 2024. We ranked 14 this past year. So we're very in tune with our employees, and we want to create a collaborative environment. When you think of it from that perspective, we've purposely chose the simple, repetitive, that is frustrating to employees. We're picking those up and automating those to A, gain adoption, B, get some quick and simple wins, and really sort of bring the collaboration to a much higher level across the organization.